Good evening, everyone. It's Friday evening. It has been an extremely long work week. I'm tired. I'm not as young as I once was, and I'm really feeling it. So this Friday evening, I'm not going to get a whole lot done, but I'm going to put some paper down on the floor to protect it while we do a lot of work on the walls inside the bus and some other things. Going to get the bus warmed up this evening, get it up to operating temperature, charge batteries a little bit, let it run for 30 minutes or so, and start getting this paper down on the floor. I'll show you the paper we decided to use. If you're familiar with craft paper is just like a brown paper that you can wrap packages in or do crafts on. They at Home Depot sell a very heavy, you'll see the thickness of this is much greater than craft paper. It's $32 a roll. It's a 100-foot roll. It's, I believe, 3 foot wide. And we're going to put this down on all the floors to protect the primer we put down until we actually paint and frame the floors, so that we don't continue to track dirt and have to do a refinish or scrub this floor clean. So let me get the bus started and get it warmed up, and then we'll get onto that paper. Fire's up, first I can get. Roll this paper out. Welcome to Saturday. We got all the paper down last night, but it got too dark to film, so we kind of cut that out. So it was a really short section of how we put this paper down. We taped, as you can see, along all the seams, because what the next project's going to be is cleaning all the ribs. They sprayed this bus with some sort of black adhesive or sealant. I'm not sure what it is, but there is zero way to remove all of it from the panels. But because we're going to put 1/2-inch boards across all of the ribs to attach the ceiling to, we want to clean these up and get primer on them so that our boards are not making contact with metal. Today was supposed to be the day that we pressure washed and sanded the roof, and then tomorrow we were going to try to paint the roof of the bus. But it rains a little bit today, sun shines a little bit today. Don't trust the weather enough. We were going to pull windows this weekend, start getting those cleaned up, getting them tinted. Making the repairs to the latches that break on them. So there'll be an upcoming video on how to repair the latches that are broke on the windows. So first things first, let's get these wiring clips cut and drop all this wiring down so it's out of the way, so we can take the grinder with some sandpaper and start cleaning ribs. Going to be another nasty job, but one that has to be done. The wire's just clipped in by zip ties that punch through the back, so we'll cut the clip. Be careful when you're cutting the clips that you don't nick any wires, because a grounded wire can cause you problems that you hunt forever. Now there's really two ways that you can get the clip out. You can get a pair of pliers and pull them off, or you can cut them off from this side and take the piece out of the back. Hey, this is a Wayne bus. They're a more rare beast. One of the reasons I wanted the Wayne bus was for the flatness, the relative flatness of the ceiling. You don't have nearly as much arch. You've got a flatter surface and then it drops down. It'll be a whole lot easier, in my opinion, to get that roofing put in without fighting so much curve. For the rib cleaning project, we only have to clean the ones that go side to side. We don't really necessarily need to clean the ones that go front to front, because we're not going to have any wood on those. For this project, once again, we get out the old trusty Ryobi 1 grinder, 18 volt, and we're going to use a 80 grit grinder sandpaper. Now this is not the same thing as what you buy for your Orbital sander. It's extremely stiff. It's cut like this in the center, and it mounts through the bracket to hold it on. Don't ever attempt to use just regular sanding discs with a grinder, because of the speed. It will fly apart and somebody's going to get injured. This is a very aggressive sanding disc. Make sure you wear eye protection. These are impact resistant. And just start where you're going to start. You've got little pieces of insulation. You've got this black rubberized hardened material on here that otherwise you're just not going to get off. And this will do it quickly. It's hard on the sanding discs. They start to get a buildup. So we're going to go through quite a few of them doing this project. But once again, in building this bus, it's a lifetime build for us. Basically, that's it. We'll go through and we'll hit all of these with the grinder. We'll come back in with a fine wire brush and go over them just to remove any other material. Hit them with a 220 grit sandpaper, and we'll use the same Rust-Oleum primer we used on the floors to prime all of these, so that when our wood makes contact with the ceiling, it's going to come in contact with the paint and not with the wood. It'll help with any moisture problems between the wood and the metal, which can cause corrosion later. If you don't take the ceilings out of your bus because they look great, I'll show you a place around the emergency hatch where 30 years ago, when they built the bus in '91, they put the screws in crooked, or maybe they replaced that hatch. But at some point they put the screws in crooked, they didn't contact the rib, it came in beside it, and it's been slowly seeping water into the insulation that was originally in the roof, and we've got a lot of rust scale around both the ribs and the roof panels. So all that's got to be cleaned up before we can build the bus, and we wouldn't have known that if we hadn't taken the ceiling out. It seems like you're saving time by not dropping the ceiling, but I think the consensus throughout the entire skoolie community is take everything out, strip it down to bare metal, take a look and see what you have. If it's in great shape, you're no worse off. But you can put better insulation. You can put a rigid foam board in, you can use a spray foam, you can use a mineral wool, something better than the original little thin fiberglass that came in the bus. And you'll be happier on those hot days and cold days when you're stuck in the bus. I've spent about an hour already and got 4 ribs done. This stuff is very heavy. I'm going to have to go to Home Depot and get a few more of the 80 grit disc. This is what's happening. The rubberized material that they put on there, or the adhesive they put on there, gums these up pretty good, about a rib and a half, and the sandpaper becomes useless. So I'm going to go get a few more packages of those. Well, I'm back from Home Depot, and I got hit with the it's out of stock monster again. So the 80 grit grinder sandpaper is gone. So none of that. So what I ended up buying was a 60 grit Orbital sander disc for my Orbital sander. And I thought, well, nothing to lose, we'll try this and see how it works. So I tried a simple one over here, and it actually is doing a better job than the grinder did. So scratch everything I said about the grinder and use your Orbital sander to clean up these ribs if that's what you're going to do. If not, then you're probably not watching this video anyway. But it does a whole lot smoother job, cleaner job of getting those clean, and it doesn't gum up as bad as the grinder did. Probably because the heat's not generated as much. So I'll show you up close how one of these works. Sunday morning, we've got a couple of small things to do before we clean, wipe everything down, and get the primer on that we started on yesterday. All of the sanding is done. I've already wiped everything down and used a solvent on it. So all my bare metal and my cross pieces are ready to go. Once again, in case you missed it earlier, the reason we're painting the cross members and the uprights is these are the cross members and uprights that our studding will attach to when we frame out the bus. So we don't want the wood to be in contact with bare metal. We want to give it every opportunity not to have a place to have corrosion start later. So I'm going to get all this cut in now, and Tracy's going to come on a little bit and take a foam roller and roll the areas that aren't cut, and everything will be primed. Then we can move on to wiring, and we're going to start laying the bus out, planning how things are going to go. So the channel will get a little more interesting once we get through this part. But just in case you like to watch somebody sand and paint, we still have the whole outside of the bus to do in the roof. So we're not going to run out of things to do, but we're trying to detail this video and every video in this series so that you can pick and choose what's best for your bus, but we're not trying to skip a step anywhere. So let me get cut in. Tracy made it back. She had to go run some errands and she had to go meet up with some people. We've talked before about her side job she does. She cleans beach houses. We're 8 minutes from the beach and she makes a nice little income doing that so she can put the money towards
the bus.
The bus. But she's going to finish painting now. I am not a painter. Anybody who knows me will tell you I would as soon go mow the lawn with a pair of scissors as paint. But I did get it all cut in. Now she's going to roll.
Probably need safety glasses to paint. There you go. Messy painter. Oh, I am your fault.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Mission accomplished. We got everything painted that needed to be painted today and washed down. Magic erasers are great.
Yeah, Tracy's been working on the emergency door for the wheelchair lift in the back with the magic erasers and got those looking really good because we don't know what we're doing with those yet.
No.
But we have been sitting here talking because we got all the painting done. We got everything clean, swept, got all our tools wiped down, put up. Because we're excited. This is the end of nasty, dirty, dust-creating work inside the bus. From here on out, inside the bus is wiring and framing.
Yay!
Yay!
And windows.
And, well, we still have to take all the windows out. We're going to take the windows out and tint those. Probably the next big project we've got to do is get the top of the bus cleaned up, sanded, and painted. You still want to go with the sand color?
Yes.
All right, well, we're not doing ours white. We're going to do it sand. And I got thinking, why do it white? You cover it with solar panels and decks. It's not like it has a lot of reflective area. Mm-hmm. And the sand color is light anyway. But I'm wore out. That's 2 more days of sanding, grinding, cutting, taping, painting. I'm beat.
Yep.
Looking forward to doing something else.
Yeah, wiring. Yay! That's as bad as plumbing.
It's dewiring and then wiring. It's just going to confuse you because there's two 12-volt systems. You've got the bus 12-volt system, and then you've got the 12-volt system that runs off solar, and then you've got to invert over to a 120 for the things that you want. Because we chose a regular refrigerator. We've already picked it out at Home Depot. It's a smaller 9.8 cubic foot.
No, I think it's like 7.9.
pretty good size though for a bus. And we're working in a smaller bus. We've got 20 foot of living space in this bus, so 150 square feet. But I'm ready to do something else now.
Yes.
But it's done, it's good. When we put the wood in, we don't have to worry about rust.
Nope.
We're set. Got the bus cleaned up, ready to start the next project. That's it for this week. We will see you all next week.
Time.